Hello pretties, welcome to Restaurant. So today I'm doing the ultimate palette battle. I saw Sophia Alexandra do this video, so I'm gonna link her down below. She did it a couple weeks ago and I thought it was so fun. I just had a good time have seeing her struggle trying to decide which one was better than the other one. I believe she said that she was inspired by somebody else, but I honestly cannot remember who. Before I sat down to film this, so I'm just gonna go to her video and link down below who she said she was inspired by or who she saw do this video. But anyway, she had the little app where it has all the palettes or whatever. I actually have all my palettes already in little papers that I keep right here on my desk so I can just grab one if I ever feel like just grabbing some foam from here. Anyway, all that being said, this is what we're working with. I did just add some palettes that I had forgotten to add, so it's fully up to date, and we're just gonna grab two and see who's getting pitted against each other. So I have Mercury retrograde and at foresight. So let me go ahead and go grab those palettes. Okay, we're back. So I have at foresight. Oh, I knew that was coming. So I have at foresight, which it's missing shade that I don't like, which is you have neutrals, or more muted colors, which honestly is one of my favorite palettes that I own, period. This color story is honestly just me. I really like it. So we have at foresight, and then I have Huda Beauty Mercury retrograde. This palette is actually on its last leg with me. I will be officially declaring it this Wednesday. My friend's coming to pick it up. Well, she's coming to hang out with me, and I'm just gonna give it to her to take it home with her. And we've already talked about it. But yeah, this palette, although I think these shimmers are honestly really beautiful and wonderful, the mattes drive me insane because every single shade, no matter how warm it looks, how neutral it looks, they're all gonna look pink. Best way I can say it, it's gonna look pink. So pink. But I found it its new home, and I'm excited for that. So it's on its way out. Yay. So obviously for me, it's gonna be at foresight. This is just my kind of color story. All right, let's see what else we've got. Two right here. All right, we've got cat's pajamas. Oh no. And proceed with caution. Okay, so we've got Cat's Pajamas, which is actually the oldest palette in my collection. This is what Cat's Pajamas looks like. Just have a bunch of neutral warm tones, and then we're cranberry plummy shades down here, and then the black. I actually really love this palette. The only reason I'm even considering getting rid of this is because of how old it is. I bought it literally when it launched in 2017, and it's that old. It's just very old, but I really do love this palette. And then you have Proceed with Caution, which in my opinion has the best little quad right here. But I think I want to I gotta think of it as a whole and not just as the little palette. I don't care for these shades at all. This one obviously it's a must. This one I actually think it's cute. I don't care for this three right here at all. I think this one's just you need it. It's a basic, and I think this one's cool, but this is where it's at. This is my sweet spot right here. And that being said, the only shade that I don't love out of the Cat's Pajamas palette is this cranberry shade. I actually think this one looks really good, also because you can blend it with this mattes really well. My sister has the same palette, and she only has a pen on 2 shadows as well, actually 3, and it's this one, this orangey one, and this reddy. She loves mixing these two together in the crease. And I've tried that, and honestly it looks pretty fucking fabulous. So that being said, I think I'm gonna go with Cat's Pajamas, only because as a whole there's only one shade that I dislike in this palette, versus here there's actually 3, and it's a smaller palette than this one by 1 shade, but still it's a little smaller, you know. So yeah. All right, let's do a couple more. This is fun. Got 3. Gotta put one back. My goodness. So the one that just dropped, putting it back. All right, let's see what we're working with here. We've got Major Dimensions 2 and the Dakiana. Ooh, that one's gonna be hard. Be right back. Okay, so I've got Anastasia Beverly Hills and Jackie Aina palette, which this is what it looks like. It's again neutral with like pinkies and it pops up like color green here. This is a really interesting shade. I really like it. Honestly, these shimmers are really nice. I really like this palette. um, so is that Jackie Aina, and then you have Major Dimensions 2, which is just like a pinky mauve kind of palette with those shimmers, and these cream shadows are really, really good. This one's a lot harder because I like the formula of Patrick Ta a lot more than I like the formula from Anastasia. Okay, my camera just kind of shut off. I'm gonna try to fix it because I'm not sure where it cut off and how much I've lost progress wise. So anyway, what I was saying was that I like the color story of the Jackie Aina palette a lot better. Um, However, I like the formula from Patrick Ta so much more. Oh, this one's hard. This one's really hard. I feel like I want to sing that song. My heart is telling me yes. Is it body or is it head? I can't remember. I don't even know this song that well. Oh, this one's really hard. I'm gonna go with Jackie Aina just because of the color story. I think there's a lot more options here, and although I don't love this formula, it's not a bad formula. I like the Patrick Ta formula so much more. But if I were to travel, I've actually traveled with the Jackie Aina palette. I would never even consider traveling with this palette just because it is a bit more of a one-trick pony. Even though there's a lot of level of depth and I really, really love these shadows, it's just I would never really travel with that palette. Granted, that being said, I actually use the Patrick Ta Major Dimensions 2 way more than I use the Jackie Aina palette. So, I don't know about this one, guys. This one is like a toss-off. Toss-up. Okay, let's do a couple more. Bam. Okay, let's see. Give it to me straight. And so jaded. Oh, this one's gonna be so easy. Be right back. Okay, we're back. Like I said, this was gonna be easy because if you spend any length of time in my channel at all, even though I don't show it off on camera a lot, everyone knows what my favorite palette is, and it's been consistently in the top 3 for the last like 4 years. It's not Give It To Me Straight. I'll give you that much. Although I think this is a really great palette and I actually really enjoy it, and I tried to pan it because I actually really like it. I'm like, this is gonna be easy. It wasn't. Clearly. It's not in my top 5, not even my top 10 or 15 anymore, unfortunately. It's just the way it is, I guess. So this one's not gonna be it. So obviously by default, it's So Janet, 100% So Janet. I love this. I love the shit out of this palette. I love the greens. I love the pinky shades. I love the duochromes. I love the cool tones. I love this green shade right here. It's so beautiful. I love it. It's gorgeous. I like the yellows. The literally everything you can think of is here. I love this palette so much. It's great. Actually, I'm gonna leave it out. I think I'm gonna do my eyeshadow with this tomorrow. I was gonna use something else, but I think I've changed my mind after looking at this palette. I'm just gonna leave it over here. I'm gonna use it tomorrow. Okay, so 2 more. Let's see what we got here. Rodin. This was a new one to me. And what else we got? Identity 1. Ooh, that's gonna be really difficult. Okay, be right back. The reason why these two are so hard is because they're actually quite similar a little bit. I mean, I mean, they're obviously one has twice as shades than the other one. But this is Rodin, and then this is Identity palette. This one's hard because I like the shimmers in this palette better, and I actually think the matte formula is very comparable to each other. My issue is that I have to be really careful with this shade right here because it can sometimes look ashy on my skin tone, on my olive skin tone, and I have to, this one I can only use it if I'm really packing it in the outer corner because it's quite cool tone, and this one was definitely looks ashy on me otherwise, so I have to be very careful when I use this one. I don't particularly love burnt orange shades like this anymore. Chic and Fearless are honestly gorgeous, and these shimmers are just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. But all that being said, and I've only had Roden for a couple of weeks, honestly. I haven't had it for that long, maybe like 2 or 3 weeks. Um, so yeah, but I will say this, these mats are so easy, so easy. I There's not a dud in this entire palette for me. Like there's not a dud at all. There are a couple of duds in the Persona palette. That being said, I like the formula a lot better in this one. This is great formula, honestly, great formula. And they're actually quite comparable formula wise. I think this was just slightly better. I think the shimmers are slightly better, but this one has a little couple of more different textures. But these shimmers are just out of this world. Oh my god. I'm gonna go with it right now. That was really hard. Like I think that physically hurt me to say that. The reason for it is honestly because one of my favorite things to do is like one and done matte eyeshadow looks, and I can honestly grab any one of these three and just do an one and done. I can put any one of these shades all over the lid, blend it out because they blend super easily, and just be out the door. These shimmers are actually quite nice. Honestly, they really are. But the mattes here, the tones work with my skin tone so well. If I am traveling, I would consider bringing this palette with me just on its own. No need for anything else. If I like traveling where I know I'm going to do a lot of activities and I'm just going for like day looks, this is what I'm taking with me. That was hard. Guys, that was really difficult. That hurt me a little. All right, I think I'm just gonna do one more, and then we're probably gonna do a part 2 to finish the rest of these. Otherwise it's gonna be a really long video. Honestly, I could probably do this as many times as I want because they're gonna keep mixing up, like new things are gonna keep coming out. So maybe this would be a fun, once I go through this once, it's like kind of doing it again every year. Kind of would be fun going through all of them once. Okay, so we have Nudie Patootie. Ooh, that's gonna be hard. I love Nudie Patootie. What you going against? Candy Skies. Ooh, this is not a competition. This is not a competition. We might do one more because this one's gonna be really easy. We're definitely gonna do one more because this one's gonna be easy peasy. I have Candy Skies. This is actually the only pastel palette that I own. I was really tempted to buy the one from Odin's Eye and Judy. However, I came to the realization that I don't go for these kinds of shades that often. Like they have their time and day, and I definitely play with them quite often. And they have like a couple of like nudie kind of shades, same thing as that one does. But except for the yellow, I feel like you hit almost all the same colors, and you have some duochromes as well, and a multichrome. There's a multichrome. It's like a green, blue, red. It's really interesting. This is a multichrome. This is a duochrome right here. I really love these shades. But that being said, I don't use them that often. These are not my cup of tea. They definitely have their time and place, and that's what I like it for, but it's just not a palette that I use all the time, you know? And that being said, it's obviously gonna be the winner here, and that's gonna be Nudie Patootie. It's actually been discontinued already, and I'm kind of mad that I didn't get a backup of this palette. But again, who buys backups for palettes? I'm never gonna finish this palette. It's again by the same brand. Formula's gorgeous. They do have these two duochromes, foil duochromes, so quite interesting. But honestly, this palette is just perfect. I've traveled with this many times, and it's just really easy. So not really a contest. So but that being said, let's do one more. Let's do one more. Okay, let's see. Sigma SX Angela Bright, and put that back. Eternal Eclipse. That might one. I think that might be easy. We'll see. I really had to come back and like double check because for a second I really thought it was Ethereal Eyes, and I was like, "Oh, that's gonna be really hard." But then I'm like, 2 seconds later, I registered. No, it's Eternal Eclipse. So this one's not as complicated. I think that being said, it's gonna be Sigma X Angela Bright. That's gonna be the winner for me here. I think this is just because this color story is really just up my alley more, and I think a lot of the shades are just easier for me to work with. Like this shades here, this mattes right here, really easy. You have a couple of pops of color here, but not too bad. I actually really enjoy all the shimmers here, and this one's here really nice. I don't have a lot of complaints, even though this blue, pink, and orange are not necessarily the colors that I would normally go for. I do see how they go with the entire palette, you know. I think they have a moment here, and there's really easy to tone down this orangey shade to make it more like a muted shade, and I think that makes a very nice muted warm transition. So I think this is why I think I'm going with this one. But let me open Eternal Eclipse because I'm shit. I don't know, guys. This is the thing. I don't really go into these bottom shades right here like ever. I think these ones are gorgeous, and honestly this middle row right here, that could be like its own thing, and I probably would have wanted its own. I really like this shade right here. I really like this shade right here. This one's actually quite pretty as well. Gold Dust, it's very interesting. I don't think Gold Dust really goes with the rest of the palette, if I'm being honest. But whatever. These are the only two. This is the only gray shade that I've been able to use on its own and not look ashy on me. And it's probably one of the 2-3 like true gray shades that I own and whatnot. So I actually quite enjoy this palette, but I'm not gonna reach for this. That's really what it comes down to. I will reach for the Angela Bright palette, will not reach for this. That's it. I have to like not force myself, but I have to like actively be thinking about using this palette in order for me to actually use this palette, you know? And I think on that note, this is where we're ending it. Hopefully I didn't miss too much footage and I don't have too much of a hard time trying to blend these videos together because it just abruptly cut off kind of in the middle of it. We're definitely gonna have part 2. I think we have enough to do a part 2. And then maybe we'll do this again in the future because I think this is fun, and we'll always end up getting different pairings, or we should be always getting different pairings. Mathematically, the probability of me getting the same 2 are pretty low. So that being said, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys!